recommend to visit the Gallery Art Media at the Winwood Building, featuring the exhibit by the iconic filmmaker from the 60s, Emmanuel Goldman. Here you can see his photographic body of work. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, obviously in the 60s, I was much more known as a filmmaker, both as an underground filmmaker, and also I worked in Paris, so I was kind of the only link between the American underground and the French New Wave. I also did still photos at the time, and I didn't think I was as good a still photographer as a cinematographer, and so it was only done part of the time. I put them in storage, all the still photos, forgot completely about them, and I had sent away to my distributor in Paris for the hard drive with the DVDs of 3 of my films, and in the box of 4,000 negatives, which I had not seen in 50 years. And when the curator, Jose Antonio Navarrete, and the gallery owner, Gary Alroy, saw them, they said, wow, this is amazing things, and this is what became this exhibition. I did two things with still photography in that time. One was like here, where I would do in films, where I would stage with friends or actors, if you like, scenes. I mean, these are staged, and the other was, of course, just more spontaneous, capturing the life in the village mostly, and friends and things, and capturing New York. So I had both elements, sort of like a film element, and I also had the element of spontaneous photographer. I was friendly at that time with several very known photographers whom I admired: Robert Frank, Ouija, Nat Finkelstein, whom I roomed with, and so it was this is all in a way very strange for me, because really these things had been forgotten and were in storage for 50 years and were sent from Paris in this box. Otherwise this exhibit would not have happened. Still photography does capture a lot of what I did with the film, plus an additional element, because still photography in a way is simpler, because you don't need to edit it. You don't need a projector. You just make it. You view it, and you don't tell a story. In a film, you're telling a story, or part of it, at least in the scene, even though you're using faces. But here, a person who sees a photo, he has to almost make up his own story. And if the faces are right, the lighting is right, the exact positioning is right, then you have something that holds the eye. And fortunately, out of the 4,000 negatives, obviously not all of them are good, there's enough of them which have that quality.
And I think this is wonderful, because this is a document from those days, from the 60s. Now, for anyone that wouldn't know, the first movie that Emmanuel Goldman did was Echoes of Silence, and this movie is in the MoMA archives and many other important film documentaries.